Hello everybody, today we're doing xesht again for season 0.4 and actually we're playing it on a Ritualist. I started with Amazon for the crit damage, but then I switched over to Ritualist, get another ring slot, put a bit of rarity on the character, and with the equipment right now it's strong enough to play it with a lot of damage on a Ritualist, actually farming tempo right now, as most of you are probably. And so I want to show you how to do that with xesht Ritualist. One thing at the very beginning, I have to say I was actually really surprised this week. I've been sleeping on this, and it's very silly. I feel stupid, but I mean headhunter. I always thought that it would be just a bit of a gimmick. It's nice to have it to play it, but now that I've tried it for the first time in PoE 2 a day ago, headhunter. And now that I've tried it, it's a completely different game. I was so stupid not using it. For now, it will be a priority to use it on every single character, because the power gain, especially in a setting like a temple, is just insane with this belt. It's so much faster to work with it. I've been sleeping on this, and I feel really silly about it. I'm sure most of you are playing it already, but if you're not, if you're like me and you're not sure about it, just do it. It's just unbelievably strong, especially for farming temple and also for running the maps quickly to get the temple crystals. You kill a few rares and you're basically invincible. It's insane. I know I'm late to the party on this, sorry for that, but it is literally insane, and I feel stupid for not having tried it before that. Apart from that, we're still playing a bow here. I crafted this one. You see it's far from perfect, but crafting materials this season are really expensive, and without the homogenizing omens, I can't make so much money selling crafts, and I also can't craft my own stuff so easily, so this is what I got. It's pretty good. The lightning damage is good, as you will see, and of course I'm still playing crit here, so this is pretty much the stats I want to have on my bow. A bit higher rolls would be good, but it's a nice base. I do have one additional arrow here so that my xesht has 2 arrows. It just feels a little bit better that way. Then I play 3 rings. They're all focused on rarity and then just rounding out all my resistances. So rarity, damage, resistances. Here I also have recover mana on kill because I do struggle with mana on this build quite a lot actually. Then here I do need an unset ring because I need an additional skill slot, so I do actually need this one, and you see just damage, rarity, and all the resistances to finish out what I need. Then the last ring again, damage, rarity, and here mostly chaos resistance because I really want to max out my chaos. Right now with headhunter I'm not quite at 100% chaos res, well 75 that is, but I'm getting close. I do play Kadiros for the clear and the additional rarity, so for anything that clears a lot of mobs this is just insanely good. It is not the maximum damage, so for pinnacle bossing I switch to another quiver that is pure damage focused as always, but for anything like temple or mapping this is by far the best. Standard projectile amulet with a lot of spirit here for me. I really needed the spirit and I really wanted to focus on the defenses here. I hate dying, and I think I'm not a great player, so I always die. Which you see, I currently have over 4,000 energy shield, just because I want to have the defense to not always pay attention. So this amulet is really all about the projectile skills, the spirit, and then giving me the defenses I need to not die. Same with the helmet. This one is by far not optimal, but it's so fucking expensive. I do need the spirit here on the enchant, so I really need the 26 enchanted spirit. You see I have 1 spirit left out of my 206, so I really need this enchantment here, which makes a better helmet with a lot of energy shield just insanely expensive. The next upgrade here is like 400 divines, and I don't have 400 divines right now. So ideally here, of course, I would want crit chance and a bit more resistances, but anyway, I wanted the energy shield because I just need it to feel comfortable. Then I play here is Ire for the insane cold damage and the evasion. This just feels so good. I used to play a energy shield build with chaos inoculation before, and chaos and with leeching energy shield with the gloves, but evasion with Heres just feels 100 times better, quite honestly. The evasion is pretty solid to not die, and plus then 4000 energy shield on top of like 80% evasion just feels great for not dying. I play Sine Equo here for the damage against immobilized and for the freeze buildup, which I really like. With Ice Shot, you freeze everything very quickly, especially bosses right now. I only use Ice Tipped Arrow and Ice Shot together with Tornado for any bossing. I don't do anything else anymore, so this works really well. And then finally Boots, just movement speed, energy shield, and all the resistances I can get in there. On my weapon swap, I play a Rand and the Effigy for the critical weakness. That's pretty standard, and I trigger that with the Thunderstorm because there is this tech that is up on YouTube with a few of the good content creators here, right, where you can shock very consistently using Thunderstorm. So this is for the equipment. I do use the charms for frozen, for chaos damage, and for ignite. I think those are currently the most difficult things for me to handle. But yeah, of course that could be different. For my character, as you can see, 4000 energy shield, I just need it. I'm sure if you're playing a bit more smarter than I am, you can get away with much less. I do need the 205 spirit. We're going to get to that. You see right now in town, I have 78% evasion, 38,000, and that will go up if I start hitting stuff. I do have maxed out resistances other than chaos, where I'm still working on it. And I do want to have everything maxed out here just again, because I'm too stupid to not die otherwise. For these skills, I am not currently using the Ritual Sacrifice because I have a headhunter now. I did play with it before a bit, so there's still some gems in it. The Blood Boil, I just didn't know what else to take, so it's not really important, but I play it because I have nothing else. Then for the main skill, that's the Ice Shot. I do run Garricons for the insane critical bifurcation, very strong. Elemental armament. I have Ice Bite in here. I don't know if it's really the best one, but you know, you could move in a different direction here with cold attunement that I don't want to play because you will see that I run actually Trinity, so I need the lightning damage. So I thought with that the Ice Bite is actually the best one here, but I could also use Stoicism, or I don't know. There's a few other options. I run Deliberation because I don't really care about the movement speed penalty, and it's just a lot of damage. But again, here there's a few options to play around, and then Vakiatas, I mean, that's clearly the best for a skill like Ice Shot. It's insane damage with that. I do have the Tornado Shot for bossing that I drop down to duplicate my Ice Shots. Here with Overabundance, have two of them. Durability to hit them more, Deliberation again for more damage, Concentrated Area, and Efficiency because mana is a huge issue, so wherever I can I put Efficiency in there to save some mana. The setup of the boss just takes a lot of mana otherwise, and I run out. Then Herald of Thunder with Elemental Armament, Magnified Area, Elemental Focus, Long Shot, and Lightning Attunement, pretty standard. You might ask why Herald of Thunder, not Herald of Ice, and that's because of Trinity. I do have Herald of Ice as well. That's not mandatory, that's just for added damage, quite honestly. So this one is needed to trigger Trinity with lightning damage, and then Herald of Ice is a bonus. Wind Dancer, quite standard. As I said, Trinity here with the Uthred's Exodus, so that it's high enough to give you 7% more elemental damage per 30 resonance. So this one is always up for cold and lightning in this build, which means I do get a nice 42% more damage with these two always up. This is actually really a huge damage boost. The Ice-Tipped Arrows for bossing. So here we run Magnified Area, Cold Pen, Second Wind, Short Fuse, and Efficiency. Again, mana issues. You see also here Thunderstorm with Efficiency, mana. The Thunderstorm with the Shock Conduction and the Overcharge. So these two together apparently make it so that it always shocks, which is really good for the added damage and for the critical weakness. Shock, Commiserate, or maybe it's this one, I forgot. But so the gem setup here makes it so that Thunderstorm always shocks the bosses. The freezing mark with prolonged duration, with siphoning for no mana issues on bosses at least. This really helps if you put it on. Efficiency, you see mana problems, and eternal mark for a bit longer duration of the mark, but don't even know what else I would put in here. Ghost Dance, which is really insane. With the amount of evasion I have, I get like 500 energy shield every time this triggers, so this is really good for survival because we have such high evasion rate with Heroes. So this is very valuable. And then I did put in the Herald of Ice for my last bit of Spirit. This is not mandatory. This here, honestly, is in mainly because then I can run here this node, the Coming Calamity, with the 40% increased cold damage. So this actually helps. The 40% increased lightning damage here for the Herald of Thunder doesn't do so much for my Ice Shot because I only have a little bit of lightning damage and mostly cold, but here the 40% cold damage, this really helps. So this node really does something for the Ice Shot damage. You see here my Ice Shot, 36,000 of it is cold damage with significantly less lightning damage in it, but this is enough to shock to trigger then Herald of Thunder. So I consistently trigger Herald of Thunder with no issues whatsoever during mapping or temple play. For the skills in the passive tree, we of course go for the ring bonuses. That's the whole point of playing Ritualist. And then over here, this is all a bit low impact. Let's put it that way. It's not really anything good here. I took this one honestly because I don't know what else to take. I have nothing. I don't know. I was using the charm slot, but now my headhunter has 3 charm slots already, so I don't need it. 3% movement speed, sure. Physical damage, sure. This one is not really doing anything. So honestly, this point and that point, whatever. They're free. I don't know what to do with them. Yeah. Then for the passive tree, kind of standard. I don't think I'm doing anything crazy here. Definitely go for Harness the Element because we have Shock, Chill, and Freeze. So this one is 60% increased damage. I have here the Biting Frost on my Megalomaniac, this one here, because enemies that are frozen take increased damage. That's different from you deal increased damage, a different bucket, so this is actually a very big damage increase. And otherwise, kind of standard, right? You go for Cook, you go for Catalysis, Stand and Deliver is always good. Here, a bit of deflection and evasion. Bit of attack speed, Herald we discussed, evasion, crit, all of it's pretty simple. Subterfuge mask for evasion, of course. I do run Agile Succession for the increased evasion and attack speed, so offense defense node quite useful. And then here I take a ton of energy shield, as I told you. Too stupid to play with lower energy shield, so I invest here heavily into energy shield. A full life here, Killer Instinct, quite valuable because with that much energy shield I usually am on full life. The full crit part, of course, more energy shield, a bit of damage with Careful Assassin, more damage with Thin Ice because we're freezing bosses very quickly, and then again going for a lot of energy shield up here in Patient Barrier because I just want it for comfort. You don't need it, just I like playing like that. You could put that into more damage if you wanted to. The Heart of the Well with cold damage, crit, and evasion from body armor. Just offense defense setup. Not perfect by any means here. Could be much better this one, but they're just too expensive right now. Cold damage, energy shield, mana on kill. I want one of those at least, and crit damage. Always useful. Same here. Crit, elemental, energy shield. You see my jewels could be much better, but I just don't have the funding to upgrade those right now. And the Megalomaniac with Fate Finding that helps with the Herald reservation. Otherwise I couldn't run the Herald of Ice and the Herald of Thunder. Fate Finding, it goes down here, so you see 20% increased reservation efficiency, so this allows me to run. But again, you could just take off Herald of Ice, take off this, and you'll be fine. It's just a little bit of min-maxing with that Herald to squeeze out a little bit more damage, but it doesn't really matter that much. So that's the passive tree, pretty standard, I would say. You see there is some second weapon set here in for shocking, magnitude, also here shock magnitude, so that's on the second weapon swap for shocking bosses with a lot of magnitude. So that's it for the build. You play it by just shooting Ice Shot, and then for bosses, drop a Thunderstorm, drop a Tornado Shot, load Ice-tipped arrows, and then shoot the boss. Also put the mark on the boss, and then shoot your Tornado Shot and the boss with your Ice Shot, and you'll see how that goes. So what I can do now is I can run a quick breach with xesht to show you how it works, and then maybe do a tempo and see how that goes. But I will have to take my microphone away from my mouth to play. So I think my voice, if I talk, will be much lower, but I think I explained the build idea now. So let me show you how it plays, and then that will be the video. So now the microphone is going to be much further away. Let's see if you can still hear me, and otherwise this is just demonstration of the build now. Oops, I didn't unlock this yet. Okay, you see in this season I actually didn't do much bossing, so I didn't unlock the latest xesht. So let's run a tier 2, just for fun, whatever. And then after we go into the temple, that's much more fun anyway. You see, I mean, this here is this trivial. Actually, I wish this would go faster. But I mean, on tier 2, of course, many builds can do this quite easily, so this is not impressive in any way, but you see, for all of this here, just Ice Shot, and yeah, everything just explodes. What you can see is that here Trinity is nicely loaded. You see Ice and Lightning always up, basically full, so you can see that I always have basically 2 full buckets of Trinity, giving me quite a nice damage boost. So this setup works quite nicely to keep both buckets filled with the Herald of Thunder doing all the lightning damage, and then all my other skills basically filling up the bucket of cold damage. So sometimes it drops a little bit, but usually it's reasonably balanced to keep having Trinity up, giving us a nice damage boost. So yeah, this here is a bit of a snooze fest. Bear with me while we click through this, just to quickly go to a boss and show you how the boss rotation actually works, but yeah, this is pretty trivial. One more thing you can see here is my mana. I don't shoot a lot right now because everything just dies with one shot, but even in this case, the mana drops sometimes. If I shoot a few ice shots in succession, the mana really drops down quickly. So mana management, unfortunately, is really a pain on this build right now. I did play around with the technology of the unique mana flask that gives you mana constantly, and then you can take a few passive nodes that work during flask effects. That was quite interesting, honestly, to play. But on bossing, then sometimes I would run out of mana, and then you can't click your mana flask to get mana back immediately. And I just got a bit annoyed at that, quite honestly. So I didn't like the playstyle with it, but the technology was actually quite nice. So if you're unsure about it, then there is a few good YouTube videos. There is some flask nodes like this one here, attack speed and damage during flask effect. And you can go here. No, not here. Where is it? The gem is here. So here, this one, stimulants, gives you attack speed during flask effect. So if you take a few of these flask nodes and you use that unique mana flask, you get them permanently, and it's actually quite nice. Also this one here for attack speed and mana recovery. So you take a few of these nodes and the unique flask, and it actually plays together quite nicely. But I felt that I wanted to have the clickable mana flask for bossing, just to be a bit less dependent on it. So now let's go for the boss quickly, and I'll stop talking because the microphone is going to go away from my mouth again. Sorry for that. You drop a thunderstorm when he's loading, Maybe that was a little bit early right now, so let me drop a new one just in case. Well, and you see how that goes. I mean, again, that's only a tier 2, so only level 80, sorry for that. But Thunderstorm, Tornado Shot, Ice Tipped Arrows, Freezing Mark, and he dies. I mean, well, quite simple. So good for that. Let's do a quick tempo, maybe. You're gonna see my tempo is not really great, but just to show how insane the headhunter gets there. Good. In the temple, the ice shot actually works really well, but I have found that with a temple, you see my temple, my chain is not extremely long yet, but uh, even with this kind of setup, it got a little bit tricky once I reached this kind of chain length with that many rooms without Headhunter. So this is what triggered me to try and get Headhunter into the build, just because without it, it didn't feel comfortable anymore. So now let's just drop all these rooms that I don't really want uh, to be sacrificed afterwards anyway. Let's go and we run, and then I'll close the video as soon as we've done a few rooms. Maybe go for the first Spy Master quickly to show you, and then this has already been way too long. So let's quickly run to the first maybe Spy Master room, which is usually the room that goes off quite well, and to show you. So now we load up with Headhunter. The first few kills here are a bit slower, and then Headhunter ramps up and suddenly everything just goes dead in no time. So let's just run all the way straight to the start of my chain. You see my placement was really bad because I didn't start my chain at the correct location at the beginning. So I have to run through this corridor here to get to the start of my chain. But I don't want to restart everything because I've already set it up like this now, so I don't want to have to go again. So let's go through here, and now you see it really starts. So all of this is working quite well. I'll go fast now just to show you the Spy Master room. And I gotta go pick up the loot later. Luckily nothing can happen to it here. So maybe this room here is fun. There's a lot of rare mobs here. So you see my mana, I have to constantly actually click my mana flask, but otherwise this is going quite well. But if you play this without Headhunter, it's a completely different ballgame. So this is really helped by Headhunter, I have to say. Without Headhunter, I can play this, but it's 100 times slower. It's ridiculous how much speed the Headhunter adds to this. Good, now here's the first Spy Master room. Let's quickly get in here. You see with the Headhunter up, or now Headhunter starts teleporting me. This works quite well. Here's the boss. Let's quickly get her down. Okay, that was it. So, as you can see, I can even hold my microphone here and keep talking because this plays quite simple. With Headhunter up, this is really easy. And that was it. Let me stop the video here. Thanks for listening, and see you guys soon.